always cared about our clients. It's part of our values. But walking in our clients' shoes is a different matter.
We do demos and we do set the radio up, but it's on the shop floor. It's nice and warm. There's no wind. This is a completely different experience when you're in the field.
When Alain first approached me for an Outside the Wire, his number one concern or developmental objective was to help build end user empathy, meaning how could the people who work at Ultra, who build radios for military personnel, how could they understand that military end user?
Most of us here have never handled a radio in field conditions or set up a network in field conditions. It's pretty hard to develop customer centricity if you can't put yourself in their shoes, you know?
The end user for Ultra's products are soldiers, sailors, pilots, and Marines. And therefore, their customer experience is on the battlefield. As a former soldier, I understand how unpredictable those field conditions can be. And training needs to replicate that as closely as possible.
What I loved about working with the Gasparotto Group was the ability to customize some of the program to what we were looking to achieve. In terms of high-level objectives, from the problem solving and where we'd be focused on there, to actually including some of the products that we make. That was terrific, and Mark and team really worked around that problem set to make it as realistic as possible.
We customized Outside the Wire to achieve their 3 developmental objectives, which includes integrating the ORION radio, a mass-mounted tactical communication system. That system, 3 of them actually, were deployed to the field and integrated into the exercise. Outside the Wire is a scientifically designed, military-inspired leadership development program. It's a metaphor for taking people and teams outside of their comfort zone, where they can chew the same dirt. And yet, on the flip side, we create a psychologically safe place. This encourages experimentation and innovation, and sometimes failure. And that's exactly what learning is.
I dealt a lot in terms of training. You could be told what to do, but people have to show you, and then you have to be given the opportunity to do. In terms of development, that's very important. So the whole doing together is important, and not only doing one-on-one, but as a team.
There are many benefits of experiential learning. It increases the learning effectiveness and also the speed at which that knowledge is absorbed. There's an opportunity to immediately apply the knowledge, which increases the engagement level. It also allows for the learning to be personalized. All of these factors help adults learn. All of these things mean that the return on investment is there.
I've undergone a lot of different leadership trainings and learned a lot from many of them. But for me, Outside the Wire is very unique in how the training takes place. The military, and especially the Canadian Armed Forces, builds best-in-class leadership. And they're taking those elements and applying it to corporate teams. It puts you in situations that are unique, but the learning can be translated into the corporate world. This wasn't a course where we sat there and listened to theory. We actually did it.
Outside the Wire Leadership Training Camp has 4 distinct phases. Phase 1 is registration, a baseline team assessment, and introductions to the Sherpas. At Gasparotto Group, we use the term Sherpa to denote the facilitator, the coach, the mentor. In phase 2, it's online learning. And here, participants take 6 modules through the Fanshawe College Learning Portal. In phase 3, it's the field training exercise, 3 days and 3 nights at a tactical training venue. On day 1, participants are oriented to the ground and to the staff, and they go through various military skills such as shooting, rappelling, and off-road driving. Throughout the day, there are also some group discussions, and this is meant to bring the theory during the online phase to life. On day 2, a lot of team building activities, and it's also the start of the Tomahawk Challenge. Here, participants are given what we call an execution instruction, everything they need to know to prepare for and to conduct this challenge. Day 3 is the Tomahawk Challenge. It is an 8 to 10 hour continuous time event, which is focusing on bringing it all together and problem solving in that ambiguous and complex environment. And finally, in phase 4, it's about coaching, individual and team debriefs. The very last activity during the field training exercise is the coining ceremony. Every participant is presented with a outside the wire coin from their Sherpa. And this coin symbolizes that they've overcome a common challenge, that they've crossed that finish line together, that they've chewed the same dirt.
I think we really achieved what we set out to do. When I saw it during the training, the way the teams were working together at first, a little bit suboptimal at times, and then you saw the teams start to collaborate differently. And seeing them gel, and towards the final exercise, the results they could achieve in record time was just amazing. When we got back, the way the team came together, I had never seen them collaborate like this. And it was a genuine pleasure to see them all, working towards the same objective with a clear end state, clear division of labor, and lots of live collaboration happening. Seeing that click was absolutely priceless.
Having our own equipment and technology and using it in that environment where our end users do use it, it made me proud of what type of technology that we provide, but also allowed me to better understand, what are the impacts on the end user.
We got to see this very large challenge, this very large operation broken down into chunks and then delegated and managed. And even in the midst of all of that chaos, there was still order that could be brought from it, from leadership.
Now, for some clients, there's a continuation to phase 4 with ongoing coaching, either at the individual or team level. And that could go on for several months, or in some cases, several years. Or it could look like the Gasparotto Group helping that client apply the learning in their own context. And we call this going inside your wire. For Ultra, they want to send a team annually to outside the wire to grow the next generation of leaders.
Certain teams that I've worked in the past sort of plateau at a certain point. This experience kind of pushes the envelope to getting you to that next level. So even for teams that have been working together for a long time, I think can go much further with this experience.